The NSA breaks the law every day. It doesn't matter who you are or what you say. They monitor your phone calls and emails anyway. Corrupt Congress reports paving the way. There's a lesson you'll learn someday. Watch what you say. See, they spy on your mind, record your calls for posterity, commit daily executive crimes with impunity. They're the authorities here to keep us safe until the boot ends up on your face. It's the NSA against the Constitution. We the people are the ones the government is abusing. We can force any agency to make a new choice when we build a movement, each raising our voice. They lie about the origins of the evidence. They lie about the numbers of Americans watched. Immense too large for them to calculate. They cite a self-serving lie by the government's eye. Computing power unmatched in history. Presuming the power to wiretap humanity. It's insanity how large the hubris looms. The government's watching you in the bathroom, and they lie about it at every opportunity. Sustained abuses in every community. Unity across Washington, D.C. All three branches against the people we see. Bush signed a secret presidential decree. Obama talked a big game. The presidentially did everything he could to entrench the legacy, a complex composed of military industry. Eisenhower 60 years before anticipated it be rising in the wings for generations growing. A crisis in democracy, sowing the futures at stake. You can start by knowing. It's the NSA against the Constitution. We the people are the ones our government is abusing. We can force any agency to make a new choice when we build a movement, each raising our voice. For 100 years since World War I, the FBI versus free speech has held a gun. Constitutional rights on the run. The palm will raise the first, but not the last one. Fast forward 40 years to the real risk here. McCarthy didn't remember, but the FBI was there. They were everywhere. They knew it, you went to bed. They prosecuted people for the thoughts in our heads. What does it mean to monitor thoughts? Spying means a lot more than watching what you watch. The feds always knowing what you've got in your head. Not only whoever with whom you share your bed, but whether you're compliant or a threat instead ahead like MFA to be neutralized. The word the FBI used decades applies. Exposed, revealed as institutionalized.
The constitutional coup already happened. It's DHS biometric data collection, surveillance drones, automatic license detections, departments of corrections, eclipsing universities. We must all resist or will be history. voice. Build a movement by raising your voice. Build a movement by raising your voice.
let me fall to my groove. Took you. Stop. Took you. Just let me fall to my groove. Just let me fall to my grave. Heart fails under pressure. Wonder if these bad days will last forever. So pessimistic from the past. All the good things end up in caskets. I'm never feeling okay. Good days are so hard to find. Just help me know again. Step from dying. My angels keep it at bay. Can't blame the people for trying. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. Took you. Stop. Took you. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 sitting at the same old workplace. What's the point of this chase? To just bite our own tail. Wishing that something would change, that we could turn back the page and live like our favorite fairy tale. So a love so free in a world of our fantasy, flying on dragons through sky-high city. These are childhood dreams, it's how we used to be. When we were kings and queens in our childhood dreams. Oh, 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 our childhood dreams. Feeling, I feel so lightweight when I think back to those days, but then we went our own way. I'm thinking about what needs to change, that we could turn back the page and live like our favorite fairy tales. So a love so free in a world of our fantasy, digging up treasures and sailing across the sea. These are childhood dreams, it's how we used to be. When we were kings and queens in our childhood dreams. Oh, 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 our childhood dreams. Our childhood dreams, it's how it used to be when we were kings and queens in our childhood dreams. Raise a storm and go where we have never gone before. We have sworn to mend the bond that we have torn. Raise a storm and go where we have never been before. We have sworn to We are the people of the clouds, and tidal we have been in town. So join us, we all stand and shout. An ancient race we are and proud. So fill the glasses to the brink. A heavy hand, so you must think. But I have found the missing link. Our fate is written in ink. Raise a storm and go where we have never gone before. We have sworn to mend the bond that we have torn. Raise a storm and go where we have never been before. We have sworn to
The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Let's stop this conversation. We got no relation.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden road, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. Too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Be quiet. I hear the thunder that comes from far away. It's like a noise in my head. Oh, this world heart, it cuts you deep and leaves the sky. Oh, this world heart, it cuts you deep and leaves the sky. Cause it's full apart and it feels It's no longer the same. 'Cause it's full of blood and it frees your heart. It's no longer the same. We need to get up here.
We locked down in different cities, and our virtual connection falls apart. Guess it's been too many years since California. Now the memories of us is all I have. See, one day I'm gonna reach ya, take a plane for many miles. We pretend that time didn't pass us by when we're on Mulholland Drive. I know it won't be long before dawn, gotta be patient for a while. Someday we'll look at stars in distant sky, when I'm on the other side. Take me back to the life that we once knew, when the walls weren't closing in like they are now. 'Cause it's been too many years since California. I wish I could get there, I don't know how. See, one day I'm gonna reach ya, take a plane for many miles. We pretend that time didn't pass us by when we're on Mulholland Drive. I know it won't be long before dawn, gotta be patient for a while. Someday we'll look at stars in the same sky, when I'm on the other side.
Ain't no love like a real love, but it goes so fast. All tied up like a captive. I want you. Used to pay on my love life, sending the rainbows, playing it cool. I was all this in ages, and now no more patience. So won't you please stay or be alive? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay or be alive. You're making me stronger, making me stronger. You stronger. Here one minute,
I'm here and I'm feeling exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear I weighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it in a sense, a fear of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. Cancel the cruise control. Switching the manual. Don't you wanna feel stop stalling in the doorway and cancel the cruise control. Switching the manual. Don't you wanna feel right again? Don't you wanna feel whole? Don't you wanna feel?
Silence